As you may assume, I'm less than the average lifespan of a woman. I've known at least 10 people from my graduating class that have passed away. How, might you inquire? Nothing. Just vehicle accidents. But I love driving, but I can't stand cities. There's usually no room between two cars to let a quick stop happen without some kind of collision. I find myself getting the middle finger on a weekly basis from some asshole for presumably driving the speed limit. Just going about my day. I don't hang out in the left lanes. I use my turn signals, and apparently that makes me a grandma. Despite all the laws around driving, there hasn't been a single successful day in any state without some kind of a car wreck. Even though my home state was pretty much dead this past year, COVID and all, the road death count was pretty much the same as the year before. There was this article in December that said that there was 304 deaths in 2019 and 305 in 2020. And if you're just tuning in, I live in Vegas. No shows, no reason to go. Still just as many freaking deaths. Do people still enjoy driving? Or is it just going to somewhere else, just leaving their house that they like? What about just driving? Personally, if I had a choice of driving versus flying, I'd drive every time. I can stop and get a dooski, take a pooski in the place of my choosing, and I don't have to go skimpy on what I bring. No extra baggage fees, bitch. I've learned, though, there are some legalities to consider. When driving through small towns on highways, they almost always drop the speed limits to a snail's pace. The U.S. Department of Commerce states that the safest rate of travel is usually a few miles above the average traffic speed. You shouldn't have to be looking at your speedometer. You should just feel it. You should feel safe. You should know this is how fast I can go on this road. No pedestrians. I'm gonna go a little bit faster. But, all of a sudden we're looking for these posted signs. Speed limits that are below the average speed. The feeling that you feel when you're driving too slow. That's the feeling of a real speed trap. It's sacrificing your safety, your time, for a few donut dollars. And if they get really lucky, those police officers that pull you over and say you're going too fast, they're gonna get a little extra. They're gonna confiscate your dab of weed from the pocket in your underwear. Those cops are praying that you didn't see the speed limit decrease to 15 miles an hour. After all, this is their only source of revenue. And if they didn't issue enough tickets, get enough money from us this year, then they're gonna drop that speed limit from 15 to 10. But just because they need to get tickets doesn't mean you need to volunteer. Don't let that be me or you. Somebody's gotta do it though. Have your brother take it for the team. But not me. I've got that perfect driving record. On the site speedtrap.org, you can look up different user-submitted speed traps throughout the US and Canada and find out ways that the local police might try to fuck you over. And sometimes it's not always that obvious. So I suggest that you drive with a GPS like Waze on. It'll tell you the speed limit so you don't have to question it. But at that point, you still have a concern though. They're gonna use that tracking data and it's gonna solidify the case that you were responsible for the dead hooker left in Waffle House's dumpster. But I'm pretty sure that was just Trinity setting you up. That chick, she didn't like you very much, and she especially didn't like that hooker hooking out, stealing all her eggs. So, back when I was living in Orlando, I was going to school there, just jumping from house to house every semester. I'd be like, I don't like where I live. I don't like where I live. And there was not pretty much a single semester that I was feeling like I needed to move as soon as I moved somewhere. So I used to live in this HOA, and they put up this stop sign in the middle of a street with no intersection. It was just arbitrarily right there where there was like a lawn on one side of the road and some grass on the other, but, it made no sense. Essentially, it was a pseudo-speed bump near the entrance of the neighborhood, where there was only one way in and one way out, and everyone was just stopping all the time. And I didn't agree with the stop sign being put up. I was just a renter, so I wasn't a part of those board meetings. And I decided I was gonna protest it. Screw this stop sign. I hate it. So for the first week, I just kept running it. And I was going back and forth the house like every few hours. I was kind of crazy. I'd go in between classes. I would freaking get up to go get Taco Bell's fourth meal in the middle of the night. And I was running it. And then it finally happened. I got pulled over by the PO. This dude was kind of like my grandpa, except more stern. And I told the officer, I missed it because it's new and I hadn't seen it before. I guess, I'm sorry, officer, this won't happen again. And he told me that I need to slow down and said, I'll be watching you, as he pointed his fingers at his eyes and then back at me. But this pretty much scared the shit out of me, so I'm like, shit, I gotta keep stopping at this arbitrary shit-ass stop sign. And then I definitely moved out the next semester because I'm like, I can't deal with a stop sign. Alright, next subject. Toll roads. I got no problem with them other than paying for usage sometimes can be a real bitch. I mean, look, toll roads are normally way better kept care of. Normally I'm taking them because I don't want to sit in some kind of traffic. It's the easy way to just get from point A to point B a little bit faster, a little bit smoother. But what really pisses me off is when I can't even pay for the toll roads and then I gotta worry about all these extra fees. You know, they try to do this toll by plate thing. I drove through a toll road in San Diego and there was no toll booth. It was all taped up and shit. I mean, there was nothing I could do, but there was these signs plastered all over it that said how to pay online. So I go online and the website's been like dead. I keep logging in every week. This has been a month now. And I can't even pay my freaking tolls. It's so aggravating because I'm gonna stop logging in. I mean, I'm kind of over that part. When I get the bill, the interest is gonna be off the roof. And I don't want to see it. My only advice for you is that you should take your plate off. If you're gonna go through one of these toll roads and you see they're about to fuck you, pull over the side of the road, get out of your vehicle, take your plate off and drive through. You've got your mask now. Just put your mask over. We're wearing masks. It's normal. You know, maybe you could put a little fake sign on it that says newly bought. Put some stupid car dealership that doesn't exist. But hell no. I mean, damn. So there's this law in Arizona. It's called Stupid Motorcyclist Law. And it sounds freaking amazing because it's like, I see those all the time. Oh, what does this have to do with anything? So that law, it's about motorists who become stranded after driving into a barricaded area. And then all of a sudden, they're stuck in this giant flood and they get charged the cost of their rescue. If the law applies to you, you're gonna get a big freaking ticket. This law should be expanded though. I mean, I love it. It's a great umbrella law where you could pretty much engulf anything stupid, like driving with your donut on your front wheel, or trying to give roadhead to the passenger, or, you know, anything dumb, anything that is just silly, like, you know, if you got too much smoke but you're still driving, if you ran out of gas and you're in a Prius. I mean, you had, 200 miles, because you know it was going electric. You had 200 miles to pull over while it was on empty, and you still freaking ran out of gas. So those drivers, they should get awarded with a dunce hat. I mean, we could make a full-on, Grammy program out of stupid motorist stuff. But all of a sudden, you know, here I am. It's not really all of a sudden. But here I am, just driving, just doing a good job at driving. I've never gotten a wreck, never got any tickets. I really can't say that I haven't deserved to get some of those. But I'm getting the middle finger, and other drivers are doing things that are clearly dumb. And where's their middle fingers? Where's their dunce hats? Where's their awards? Why do I feel like I'm getting the award for that? Why am I getting honked at all the time? Is it a sign of love? I drive a Jeep, so I'm getting those peace fingers. Those Jeep little waves. What really worries me is that we're gonna get self-driving cars soon. You know, we already kind of have them. There's some tests. There's this company called Aptiv. They got a bunch of self-driving cars around. There's drivers in them that are just making sure that things are going smooth, but they're not supposed to be touching the wheel unless an emergency happens. And, okay, so once those things happen, is driving gonna become outlawed? I know this subject comes up, you know, from time to time, and, you know, some people look at it as a good thing. I personally look at it like driving's the most dangerous, fun thing I can do on a daily basis. And is this not going to be a part of my life? Is my child not going to learn how to drive? I mean, it's bad enough that nobody drives stick shifts anymore because we don't know how to coordinate without holding our phone in one hand. Now, how are we going to use the clutch? You know, how are we going to freaking shift gears if we got to hold the phone? So nobody is driving anything but automatics. It's like a skill if you can do with manual driving, and that's terrible. So is my kid gonna learn how to drive, period? Is that what we're gonna do? I mean, it's like taking a horse now. You don't see people taking a horse to work. You know, so yeah, I'm talking fast. I'm sorry, I should slow down, but I'm very passionate about this, and I'm really getting sick just thinking of the prospects of the future where we just lose all of our rights. We lose our privacy, and we act like it's a joke. But if I can't drive, that's gonna make me mentally handicapped even more. You know, imagine all these suicidal NASCAR drivers. I don't even know what kind of society we're gonna have. I mean, is NASCAR gonna be fun? Was it ever fun? Are we even gonna ever leave our homes? If we don't work a job that makes those machines run, you know, if I'm just doing my office job like I do now, am I gonna be strapped at home? Will driving a car be like riding horses? Is it more hobbyist and for sport? Are we gonna track the suicide rates of people as we lose our rights to drive? Or does it not even matter anymore because we're so busy texting while driving, that we're so busy honking because we were 5 minutes late to the job that we hate? I mean, here I am getting the middle finger, and I'm just driving, you know? I would love driving if it was just driving, but it's dealing with all of you assholes. This really took a big turnaround. I will end on this note. I have a neighbor that I used to love dearly. Something mentally just snapped in his brain, and he ended up getting in this vehicle collision last month, which led to 2 other people dying. And he was messed up, like he was on drugs. And I'm just hoping, you know, maybe his wife won't hear this, but it breaks my heart. You know, people aren't thinking they're getting behind the wheel, they're going mentally insane. And I'm just thinking about how driving, it's the most riskiest, craziest thing that most people will engage in during their lifetime if they're living in a Western country. And it might not exist. So, you know, let's delay it being taken away any sooner by being sober when we're behind the wheel, enjoying it, turning up our beautiful music, taking in the day, because this might be the last, decade of actual real driving, driving where you have the control to make the turns, that you're not, having the GPS do all the navigating. I mean, you don't have to take the fast way. You don't have to take the toll road, and you can take the toll road. Just drive. Enjoy it. You got a guessing about a decade left before this doesn't exist. That's not where this was supposed to go. Maybe not that funny, but it's what the Brit, it's my segment. I'm doing it.